writing that deeper stuff, it comes naturally and it feels good. It's like it's nice to be able to make art that people seem to be into and also we're into it.
So, Keith, debut album coming in a few weeks. Are
Very
you getting excited? Okay, good. Do you have a chance to take a step back and take it in as well? Because a lot of stuff is
Dude.
happening, and a debut album is only going to happen once.
Dude, it's been an insane year. I mean, I guess we're in the new year now, but oh my
Yeah.
God, the whole 2024 was it was like a blur. And just recently, actually, over the holidays, I had a chance to kind of be like, step out of it and
Yeah.
unplug for a second and be like, oh my God, how much did we do? All this work. And it's weird to even look back, even on like social media or something, just to scroll back to when we started promoting
Right.
all the new singles and everything. It's just like, oh my God, I can't believe so much time has passed. It's weird. It's exciting. Like we're all super stoked to see the fruits of our labor finally get
Right.
released into the public, and I hope that everyone receives it well because we worked
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
hard on it.
Yeah. 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 Is it when you took that step back and kind of appreciated all that? Like there's buzz happening for this album coming out. You guys have been able to surround yourself with multiple people, good teams, professionals. Um, that's not necessarily common for bands releasing their debut album, right?
Right.
You're not like most bands, playing in bars and recording self-recording a debut album, and then maybe after a couple of releases, you get the support that you guys are getting now. Like,
Mhm.
is it sinking in that you're in a very different cycle than that?
I mean, maybe not. Maybe it
Yeah.
hasn't really sunk in yet. I think that with us, it's been a little different from the beginning of this entire project. We've been a band now for about, I guess, a little over 4 years,
Mm-hmm.
5 years, and we, even from the start, we kind of had like this pre-programmed plan to not do that. To
Right.
not
Yeah.
don't do because we had all done it before.
Right.
Everyone in the band had been in other projects and we did that before. And it was almost like we were able to say like, hey, that doesn't work. And then when we really sat down to start writing, COVID happened where we formed and wrote our first EP during quarantine. So I think the game was completely changed for everyone, whether they wanted it to be or not. And
Right.
because of that, I think maybe it benefited us in the way, like you said, we said if we were going to do this, we were going to really put an album together, all new songs, and really work hard on it. Then we weren't
Yeah.
going to just do it like that. We were going to seek out a producer we wanted to work with, and we were going to get the right PR for it, and we were going to try our hardest to create buzz around it before we put it out. And I guess it's weird that it's happening. I don't think it has sunk in yet. No.
I gotta lose my head, get some sleep, but I wake up with empty bottle.
From the get-go, letting other people in,
Yeah.
producers, other people around that often is very hard for a new band to do, because you're excited about a new band, you've got a vision, you've got ideas. Would that have been possible for the band if you hadn't been in those other projects and bands
No.
before?
Hell no. Absolutely not, man. It was
You needed
hard
that
this
maturity.
time. It was hard this time. I think we're lucky that we were all able to say like, all right, chill out, like everyone calm down. Like it's okay. I can't tell you how many times I was pissed off just because of anything, like
Right.
I don't like that line, Keith, or that needs to get shortened, or we got to take out this verse. Like that's going to piss you off no matter who you are. But I think that because of the way we went into it and, the past experiences, we all kind of were just like, okay, everyone relax. We all have the
Right.
same goal. As long as everyone's goal is the same, we're okay. and that's. But yeah, it wasn't easy, man. No way.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Now, let's start. Usually, ask at the end of an interview, like, hey, what shows are coming up and what have you. But you guys got these release shows coming, or the release show coming on
Right.
February 8th, I believe, right? In the
Correct.
Debonair in New Jersey. So,
Yeah.
what can we expect from that show? Like, it's going to be a big of a party. It's not just yourselves.
Yeah. No. Hell yeah.
But yeah, what can we expect? Why should people come out?
Well, we want people to come out because this is going to be a completely different show, right? Completely different from anything we've done before. We're really trying to look at it in a different way. We handpicked the bands that we're working with on this one. We didn't want the venue to just load the bill with whoever.
Right.
And most of the bands on the bill actually worked with our producer as well, which is hysterical. So I think we're all kind of starting to create our own little network here. But we do want this show to be more of a show, right? Rather than just like go check your friends out at the local venue. So I want people to come, and I think people will have a good time because we really are going to try to put on a show, an experience, and we're looking into like a couple little things, like possibly like getting an MC or comedian to like work between sets and whatever we can think of to like kind of make the night more fun for everyone to come, and try to encourage people to come for the entire thing rather than just show up for the band that they know.
Beyond that, the year is only getting started. This has to be a busy year for you. Like that the plan is going to be clear on that, I'm sure. So what beyond this release show, what can we expect? What should we keep our eyes open for?
So, I mean, working all year and releasing all this music, it was funny during the holidays. We kind of it was like a step back to take a breather. And then, once we stepped back to take that breather, we were kind of like, hey, we have absolutely no time to breathe at all. Like, we got to keep this going through 25. So we're obviously going to be playing out a lot more. It's going to start with our release show. We're looking to play out over those next few months through the spring. And then in the summer, I'll say it here, and this is not written in stone by any means. There's nothing booked, but we are looking at doing some sort of tour in June up the East Coast and then up the West Coast with a band that we're friends. I can't say their name yet either, I guess, but it's with a band that we are close with from the West Coast. So
awesome.
If anyone wants to try to do the math on that, then
we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Now, let's dive into the music itself, which is at the end of the day is still the most important thing. Well, the music and the themes and the stories that you're telling. Because let's jump at a song. Better Where I Can, one of the singles that was released. For me, there were, like, if I was like, oh, what bands influenced this sound, and for me, kind of like jumping out is with The Offspring, but like early '90s Offspring, and it's cool to see that these guys are still around and having yet again found new wind in their sails, and going on. But what made them stand out in those early '90s? I'm not necessarily talking about Pretty Fly for a White Guy, but what was before that, where punky rock and pop punk music in those days when I was a teenager, a lot of that was like, high school problems, angsty issues, and often like staying very much on the party surface, if you will.
Yeah, sure.
A band like The Offspring with their early stuff went much deeper than that. And the same is happening with you guys, right? Like, and again, you're not 12 years old yourself anymore. But all your music comes with a much deeper layer. And I'm sure that you're happy if your fans are just coming to the show to have some fun. But I don't think we're going to necessarily expect like that kind of surface level music from you guys. Is that also a very conscious approach? Like, hey, you want your music to have something to say versus just a party?
Yeah, it's funny. We had talked about that when we first came out of the gate with our very first Northvale stuff. That was a conversation about something to try to stay away from. We wanted to. We knew that we had to break into a scene, right? And we had
Right.
to. Sometimes to do that, you almost have to box yourself in and do what everybody else is doing, right? Because you want to fit in the mold and get yourself
Yeah.
into that place. And so it was in the beginning it was a little tough because we were trying to not be as deep with the things we were writing. And then on this record specifically, it was on we tried to grow, we had to grow up fast, you know. We're not necessarily like a young band here. We're a new the band is young, but we are not.
Yeah. Yeah.
We it was kind of weird to just be writing that surface level party music when we had all already we're grown up and we've gone
Right.
through some shit. So we our producer actually pushed us to be ourselves on this one. Brett and Gary, they said, you know, just be yourselves. And it's kind of worked out because we can see that our demographic, you know, with Spotify and Apple Music and all that, we can see our demographic is our age. So
Right.
which is great. So we're marketing to ourselves almost, and writing that deeper stuff. It comes naturally, and it feels good. It's like it's nice to be able to make art that people seem to be into, and also we're into it.
Yeah.
So those darker themes and things like that come out, it's like it's therapy for us. It's great.
I wanna make it by the skin of my teeth. I wanna spit out all the words I can't speak.
Another song where that therapy side comes out. Another single, the focus track even is dead, already dead. Where, I mean, and at the end of the day, people can interpret music any way they want, and I'm sure that
Right.
some people will listen to that song, maybe if they haven't seen the video yet.
Right.
Their first reaction might be like, "Oh, this is breaking away from a toxic relationship" or something like that.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
you know, you've already stated before that this is, well, breaking away, yes, but more from, you know, because of disillusionment from belief systems, whether it's societal, whether it's religious. The fact that the song itself is set in a church,
Yeah.
you know, in the States today, that could still, you know, raise some eyebrows, I'm sure. You know, I come from Europe originally. I'm calling you from Toronto in Canada, as you know. But, you know, when I was growing up in Europe, like, it was more the exception that kids would be religious. And didn't really, in our society, didn't feel maybe that a hold of religion or societal belief systems as much as clear from this song you and other people had to go through. Well, if you look at the world today around you, because I mean, we all follow what's going on in the States every day. Like, you know, the States is just too important for us to ignore. Sometimes we try to, trust me.
Yeah.
But you know, what's how have you seen that evolve? Because when I read like press releases, you can tell that the press team on songs like that that could be a little bit more touchy subject matter wise, try to be also very careful in the way they describe these singles.
Yeah.
How do you see like the hold, if you will, of organized religion, let's call it, on the music scene in a place like New Jersey today?
Well, I mean, you know, it's funny. It seems like now, like just now, there's much more of an acceptance for religion, not for religion. I think I hate to say it, but it seems like people who are not religious are more accepting of people who are than the other way around. You know,
Right.
If you encounter someone very religious, they, at least in my experience, they tend to push it on you. And I think in the pop punk world, I see a lot of very Christian oriented bands or like fans, you know, in there, and you see the other side of the spectrum too, as well. But in the scene, I'm not really sure that it's affecting it too much. For us, it was just a topic that we had talked about. I don't remember if it was me who brought it up or possibly Chris, our guitarist, but the song seemed to be going in that direction when we were writing it, and we really leaned into it because at least within our group, we've had a lot of less than positive experiences with
Yeah.
organized religion. So we wanted to we wanted to run home with that because, like you said, we aren't really into making that surface level party music, and we wanted to try to
Right.
make the themes on this record like have some more depth.
Yeah, yeah. Is then if I put that together with what you're saying before, and then is it then also is this band then just as much about building a community as it is about having a creative outlet?
Yeah, definitely. We want to. We would love to build more of a community with our fans around our music and around our band. I think that this band is a place, or our community is a place that's very accepting of everyone, and we definitely want to drive that home because I think that regardless of who you are or what you believe in or any of that, at the end of the day, we're all just humans, and we're all gonna go through a bunch of horrible shit in our lives, most likely, and
Yeah.
it's nice to be able to meet other people and talk to other people about maybe meet other people who have gone through situations that you have and be able to talk to them, just to know that they're not alone in
Yeah,
the world.
yeah.
I wanna spit out all the words I can't speak. I wanna listen to the voice inside my head screaming out.
That community is not just going to be in the States. You're obviously going to be focused on the States first and foremost. And I think it would be fair to say that you've got a quote unquote American sound as a band. But also you said, we can see on Spotify what's happening, and we're looking back at 2024 and whatnot. This kind of pop punk is getting popular again, not just in the States, but all over, based on what you're seeing from algorithms and so on, or tracking, not from the algorithm, but from tracking and results and stuff like that. What's in the plan? Like you said, like, okay, we want to tour later this year in the States. Great, fantastic. We expect that from you. But given that you guys are looking at this from a bit more of a mature through a mature lens than another younger band, what's the long-term plan for this band? Like, where do you want to take this music?
Well, I mean, at this point, we've had small contact with small labels, and things like that, talking about getting signed, and I think that the things are just so strange now, at least for us, like with pop punk, and it's a small world to begin with. When
Right.
you look at it when you take a step back, pop punk is not a huge genre. It's getting bigger, it seems like, right, but it's still not. It's not like alternative rock or
Right,
something like that, or even metal. It's not metal. Like it's pop punk. So it's kind of like up in the air as to like what exactly we want to do with this. We're going to keep doing it. That's for sure. We've talked, and after this record, we are going to keep going. As far as touring in the States, that's an obvious next move. What's funny is the band we are trying to go on tour with. We spoke about Australia with them because both of us seem to have a very decent following. I mean, as per the algorithm, right?
Yeah, no, for sure.
It seems like we have a decent following in Australia too. And I mean, I wouldn't mind trying Canada either. We're close. Northvale,
Yeah.
it's not that far of a
I mean,
drive.
as long as you get through the border, that's really the only
That's
hiccup that you
the only thing, but we'll just we just have to behave ourselves for a few
Exactly.
hours and everything's fine. I've driven to Montreal before. It's not far, so we can do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the band, I think that as we grow, I don't want to say that we don't want to be pop punk anymore, but I think that as any band grows, their sound matures, and I think I could see us fitting in more of a broader spectrum of rock and roll rather than just this tiny pop punk band.
No, the interesting thing about, like, let's call it fusion genres like pop punk is that, and I'm sure you've seen that as you're playing shows before, you'll often find yourself in that unique position where you can be hard enough for people that want to have hard music. You can be poppy enough for people looking for pop, but at the same time can also be too hard for the poppy person, and you can be too poppy for the hard person, right?
That's right.
So have you seen like very different like crowd reactions based on who you're playing with, where you're playing?
Yeah, sure. I think that for us specifically, we are quite soft in terms of the music. Even when you put us up against other pop punk bands, especially on this record, like it's a lot more mellow, and I guess we really leaned into like the emo thing. Maybe even like I don't think this is even a genre of music, but people are calling it like elder emo as a genre of music, which is hysterical. And I'm like, well, I can't be mad at that. Like that is what it sounds like. So
It does make you sound like 60 years old.
Yeah, I know.
That's just a little bit too much.
That's the bad part, right? But we have had fans commenting on posts saying like more breakdowns, like, dude, I'm like, dude, I'm sorry, like that's not going there. Not that I'm even opposed to it. It's just kind of like, you start writing and you make a piece of work like this album, and then it's just like, now how can I come back with heavy breakdowns after this? I don't know. Maybe.
We'll see.
Yeah.
You're throwing some curveballs on your songs anyway, so we'll see where this goes. But awesome. Well, Keith, there's a lot going on for you guys right now, and it's super exciting. I do hope that you and the entire band, the whole team, can just appreciate this launch, because every new band can only release their first album once, and I am excited to see how things are going to evolve. I hope we get some content from that release show,
absolutely,
so that we can all enjoy, everybody that can't be there in New Jersey on February 8th. And then we'll just wait and see if you can make it across the border safe and sound to come play a few shows up here. Keith, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it, and I wish you guys all the best with the release.
Jasper, thank you, man. It's good to be here. Appreciate it.
You are awesome for watching this video. Click right here to see more content like it and subscribe to the channel.